Hello friends, NCERT-Botany next episode. So this episode deals with a new chapter. In that new chapter, it is the first episode, plant growth and development. So we already finished respiration plants, sexual reproduction and flowering plants. Next is, now what we are proceeding is plant growth and development. After finishing this, we'll enter into genetics. So I think we can proceed. So what all things we'll be learning in this new chapter? That is plant growth and development. First, we'll be dealing with an introduction. What is growth? Now, what are the features of plant growth? Then phases of growth. And what are the methods to measure growth? Growth rates, different types. After that, efficiency index. Then absolute growth and relative growth. After that, what are the conditions for growth? And finally, 5 theory question and 5 NEET model question. So for convenience, I will share the screen. So it will be easy for you to locate. I think screen came. Now we can proceed to our topic. So plant growth and development. Left corner, you can find in black letters NCERT main content in this chapter. Now when we proceed to plant growth and development, first we have to observe what is growth. Growth generally means increase. Anything if grows means increase. Development, that itself is the combination of two terms, growth plus differentiation. And that itself is a question. What is development? Growth plus differentiation will give you development. And in this chapter, we'll be dealing many other chapter content, a combination of different aspects in different chapters that all will be discussed in this chapter. So in a nutshell, it deals with from a seed, an adult plant, again from that plant seed. And that is what is called as growth and development. And it is mainly takes place through metabolism and is controlled by hormones. So we can proceed to the term growth. What is growth? Most basically, when we define the term growth, it means when number of cells formed is more than the number of cells lost, growth may take place. So when number of cells formed is more than the number of cells lost, growth will take place. Reverse condition is called degrowth. And for growth to take place, metabolism has to take place. If life is there, metabolism will be there. And metabolism means it is a totality of anabolism and catabolism. In a broad sense, concerned with the development, growth factors that can be broadly divided into two. Internal or intrinsic factors and external or extrinsic factors. And remember, growth is a feature of living organism. But remember, it is not a defined feature. It is in it, living organism, but not a defined feature. And growth includes increase in size, volume, weight, all this comes under growth. I think first part is clear. Now we will proceed to features of plant growth. When we take growth in plants and animals, there are certain differences between these two. In plants, it is mainly due to meristem. Second, in plants, it is an open form. And in third, it is indeterminative because animal growth is up to certain age, only it will take place. But plant growth will be continuing, specifically lengthwise, and that is mainly due to meristem. And fourth point is, it is only to specific areas, mainly the apices. Growth can be measured by various parameters, which include increase in size, weight means fresh or dry, surface area, length, volume, number of cells, etc. Now, two famous comments in NCERT. What are these two famous comments? One, single maize root apical meristem can give rise to more than 17,500 new cells per hour. and that is concerned with the growth in number. While cells in watermelon may increase up to 350,000 times, and that is concerned with the growth in size of the cell. I think that two comparison, that two values clear and is important for NEET and theory and NCERT. Now we can proceed to next page. I think this page is clear to all of you. Next is pollen tube growth. There we can find increase takes place lengthwise. But when we take a leaf surface, dicot leaf, increase in surface area will be there for dicot leaf. So one is lengthwise, one is surface area wise. Now comes phases of growth, another important aspect for exam. 3 different phases can be considered. Remember, all this concerned with the plant science. One is meristematic, other is elongation, third is maturation. Meristematic phase is otherwise called phase of cell division. Elongation phase is otherwise called phase of enlargement. Maturation phase is otherwise called phase of differentiation. Now, meristematic phase or phase of cell division. Each phase has got its own features, NCERT-based, important for theory entrance exams. So when we come to meristematic or phase of cell division, the name came due to the typical meristem. What all characters will be studying in anatomy as a typical meristem under eumeristem, all will be here also. Large nucleus, dense cytoplasm, constantly dividing, rich in cytoplasm, cell wall primary nature, thin, cellulosic, and large number of plasmodesmatal connection. That may be the most important item for exam from meristematic or phase of cell division. Large number of plasmodesmatal connection. And this is typically seen in root apex and shoot apex where meristems will be located. Second area is elongation or phase of enlargement. That is just above meristematic zone, where we can find increased vacuolation, new cell wall deposition, size of the cell will increase, and that may be due to vacuolation. And third phase is phase of maturation or phase of differentiation. So above the phase of enlargement, we can find, or phase of elongation, we can find maturation phase, where cells will undergo differentiation. And 2 types of differentiation we can find. One is structural, one is physiological. Structural differentiation means based on the shape, internal organization, size, all will be attained or attaining. Physiological means it is more towards functional aspect. So cell reaches functional aspect. Typical example, root hair will be concerned with absorption, mesophyll cells will be concerned with photosynthesis. So the 3 phases, meristematic, elongation or maturation, or phase of cell division, phase of enlargement, phase of differentiation, I think clear. Again, important for exam purpose. And cells of this phase here means differentiation phase, reaches their maximal size in connection with the protoplasmic modification and wall thickening. And typical example is most of the tissue, cell types, etc. in a plant belongs to this third category, that is maturation phase. Now comes to next aspect. Most interestingly, once cells reaches into maturation, so when they mature, cells do not grow further and remain unchanged till death. Now we can find 2 diagrams there. One is called line technique. It is to find the increase in length. A seedling will be taken and that some spots will be marked. After 1 or 2 days or after hours, where is this marked spots? We can find that area between each markings from the first seedling and after a time that will get increased. And that will be more towards the basal part where cells will undergo division. That is parallel line technique. Second diagram, that is a root apex or root part and a shoot part is given. Root apex and shoot apex will increase in length by meristem. Then they will increase the radius by secondary thickening or vascular cambium. Which all instrument we can use to measure growth? One is called oxonometer, other is called Bose crescograph, and third is parallel line technique. These 3 can be utilized. NCERT-wise, oxonometer and parallel line technique. There is one more method, Bose crescograph, JC Bose. I think that part is clear. Now we can proceed to next, growth rates. What is meant by rate? Rate always means a comparison between 2 quantities. Here growth rate means growth per time is compared. So growth and time is compared. And mathematically, two types are available: arithmetic growth and geometric growth. All these three diagrams belongs to NCERT. What is arithmetic growth? One cell divides into two. Among these two, only one will divide. That way it proceeds. So it will be there. It is producing a linear growth. Geometric growth means cells divides in all planes, like a three-dimensional growth. And the third diagram, there we can find it is connected with the embryo. And in embryo development, we can find both this geometric and arithmetic phase. That is an important question. Both type of growth can be seen in embryo development. I think that page is clear. Now formula-wise, first, arithmetic growth, that is linear growth. Formula is LT equals L0 plus RT, while the other one, cell divides in all planes, where the formula is W1 equals W0 e raised to RT, where it gives rise to a sigmoid growth. And each letter, LT, length of the organ time T, L0, length of the organ time 0, and R is growth rate or elongation per unit time. While in sigmoid growth, W1, final size. Then final size means it can include weight, height, and number. Then W0, initial size. E, base of the natural logarithm. Then R is growth rate and T is time. So both formula, once in a while they'll be putting some problem type questions. I think that page is clear. Now again, two more diagrams given in NCERT book, the bottom two diagrams. One is showing linear curve, other is showing sigmoid curve. And linear curve, we'll be getting a straight line, while sigmoid curve, we'll be getting an S-shaped curve. Linear curve, formula we already know. Linear graph, not linear curve, linear graph. LT equals L0 plus RT. So to find the rate, that is what indirectly the first square denotes. For that, I shown for dotted line marked there how we can find it. R equals LT minus L0 by T. So here LT refers to this L5 here. I put a dot there. And L0 refers to L3 here. So LT minus L0 equals L5 minus L3 divided by T. T equals same manner, T4 minus T2. I think that idea clear, how we can find the rate. Now second one is sigmoid curve. So three phases we can find there: lag phase, log phase, and stationary phase. So maximum growth takes place in log phase, which is otherwise called exponential phase. So both this graph, NCERT based theory entrance question. I think idea clear. Now we have to proceed to efficiency index. So what is meant by efficiency index? See, in the formula, we observe a term R. So R that originally stands for relative growth rate, which measures the ability of the plant to produce or synthesize new plant material, and that is called efficiency index. So what that efficiency index means? It means final size, that is W1, depends upon the initial size W0. So based on starting only, we can decide the end or final. Now, next aspect of it is quantitative comparison between growth of living system can be also made in two other ways. One is called absolute growth, and other is called relative growth. Again, NCERT-based theory entrance question. So two leaves they're shown, leaf A and leaf B. And in leaf A, we can find absolute growth is 10 minus 5, 5. Leaf B, we can find absolute growth is 55 minus 50. There also it is 5. So A and B, both the leaves, size is different, but their absolute growth is same, that is 5. I think it is clear. Now we have to take relative growth. Relative growth, there is a formula, growth per unit time by initial size. So what will be the relative growth for leaf A? So growth per unit time, 10 minus 5, 5. Initial size of the leaf A, 5. So 5 divided by 5 into 100, that is 100%. By leaf B, growth per unit time is 55 minus 50, that is 5. Initial size 50 into 100. So 5 by 50 into 100, that is 10%. So what we can observe is, even though size of the leaf is more in B, their absolute growth is same for the A and B leaf, and relative growth, it is 10 times more in leaf A. We cannot even guess it. We will not imagine it. That is why they're asking this type of question for NEET and theory. So for leaf A, leaf B, absolute growth is same, 5. Then relative growth for leaf A will be 100%. Relative growth for leaf B is 10%. I think that idea is clear. Theory entrance question. Now comes conditions for growth. Light is needed, temperature is needed, water, oxygen, nutrients, gravity, etc. are needed for growth. In our case, what all we need? Same thing. Now after that, 5 theory question and 5 NEET model question with the key. After doing only NEET questions, check the key. That is regarding this episode. So we can just pass through what all things we learned in this episode. So we started with the plant growth and development, and what all things we'll be learning in this chapter that we discussed first. Then we started with the growth and development. Then features of plant growth. Then next is phases of growth, 3 phases. Then we observe few diagrams from NCERT, methods to measure growth. Then growth rates we proceeded, arithmetic and geometric. Embryo we can find both during their development. Then formula LT equals L0 plus RT, W1 equals W0 e raised to RT, and their explanation, letter stands for. Then graphical representation, linear growth and sigmoid growth, and how we can find R, formula, etc. we done. Then after that, we proceeded to other quantitative comparison, absolute growth and relative growth, the formula. What about absolute and relative growth in leaf A and B, how we can calculate it. Then conditions for growth. And finally, question 5 theory, 5 NEET exam question. Hoping that it is clear. And if you like this channel, please subscribe or like it, share it, comment on it. We can continue in the next episode. So thank you for your cooperation. We can meet later.